So I want to play off of some of the discussion last night, primarily around this a very loaded term called awakening. And so when I look back, as was sort of shared last night, there was just this more or less continual collapse into what is, regardless of what it looked like, whether it was supposed to be there or not supposed to be there. There was just a giving up of the fight against what is. Which is really, from the first night here, I think I said, all we're doing is we're just sitting in it. We're sitting in what is. We're mimicking, at least on the surface physically, I'm going to plop myself here and I'm going to sit. And I'm going to collapse into what is. You're making yourself available. So there is intent, you could say. There is the work. What is the work? The work is basically to accept what is right now. And every time the mind spins it into a something, says, this is spiritual, this is not spiritual, this is bad, this is good, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. There's a vigilance in not buying into the concepts as they try to reify the experience. Is it just being with it without following it, being helpless to see this mind spin, but not following the content, challenging the belief system. Here it goes again. I am so-and-so. I'm bad. I'm good. I feel worthless. I don't like this feeling. You can't stop it. But you don't have to follow it. As one of my teachers said, you can have thoughts, but don't let them have you. Nothing wrong with thoughts. But when they have you, then you think you're a thought. But thoughts come and go, don't they? If you're not following them, 1 minute they say you're a terrible person. The next minute, maybe they say, oh, I think I'm getting enlightened. I'm wonderful. I'm terrible. Does it change what the thoughts are occurring in? And while you don't know it, as something is sneaking up on you. Because every time you don't follow it, every time you stop for a moment, you're home. You're really home. and make your home even when you get lost in the thoughts. But it's hard to see that at first, trust me. What you are gets lost in the thoughts. And so there's this intention to keep coming back, to keep coming back to the groundless ground of being. And then we get these openings, these seeings as the groundless ground all of a sudden blasts through the structure, often called insight. Something shifts a little bit. And then the structure reflects on it and says, oh, wow, look at that, I'm almost there, I got this. And it turns it into an experience, it objectifies it. But what is free, what you are, is not objectified. It's not an object, it's not something dead and still or an appearance, it's an alive presence. Yet that insight, that opening, was that alive presence touching itself as you. And the tendency of the mind is to make it into something, because that's what minds do. They make things into something. And versus, okay, got that definition of the experience. Now drop that too and come back here. And so what we find basically as we watch the thoughts, as they respond to uncomfortable or comfortable energies, is that the whole structure is just a, could I say, conglomerate? It is like the thoughts define the energetic felt sense. And it all combines to say, this is me. And I don't really like me. But here I am. And it's all tied up like glue. You have a thought, and immediately the energetic sense that maybe is uncomfortable comes in, and you feel that, and then the thought responds to that, and then there's an energetic sense, and pretty soon it feels so visceral, so real. But when you keep coming back and you don't follow it, you see how the whole structure can build itself like a snap of a finger. And yet, when you stop and you don't follow and you come back, it can totally collapse like a snap of the finger into, from structure's standpoint, looks like nothing. The whole play of appearance, the structure, its world, its creation, its responses, you start to watch, they are coming and going in what? It is like a television screen. What we're coming back to, what we really fundamentally always are, that which we can never, ever get away from, is the screen and the television set. And then miraculously out of that, the pixels start to form. Because that's what, you watch TV and it has little pixels that weave around and come together, and pretty soon they make an image, right? And pretty soon you have characters and someone that's watching it. On and on it goes. And so you start to see, you stop, all of a sudden you're this blank television screen. And then out of nowhere, the pixels are felt. This richness is felt. And then immediately the thoughts come in and form themselves around the pixels. And pretty soon you have something called me. And some troublesome looking character across the way. And trees and flowers. And poop and pee. Great fun. It's great fun to watch a movie or television, isn't it? Especially when it doesn't, it's not about you. It really works the same way when you stop and you go, wait a minute. This is an incredible display that looks and feels so real, so solid, where I have to take this position and not that position. But when I just look, it's all equal. Every pixel, every thought, every idea has the same weight, is all equal because the whole thing is arising and passing in this blank, wide open television screen. So am I just a pixel? Am I this conglomeration of thoughts weaving with pixels and feelings and sensations and drama? How can I be just that if in a snap of the finger they stop and disappear? You start to see that the whole thing, while on one level it looks very, very solid, you start to watch and you go, it's miraculous. I turn my head here and it's this. And then I turn my head and it's this. And what happened to that? Oh, there it is. But what happened to this? What am I? If I cannot hold on to that over there or this over there, oh, there's a hand. There's a thought. There's what looks like someone talking into a microphone. Looking at a webcam. Now there's this. Now there's this conglomeration called Kent. Wow, I can create a story about him, I can feel him, and then I can look even deeper, and all I feel is this essence shining forth. The eyes, look at the eyes. Who is looking at who? It's the blank television screen meeting itself in its purity as it forms itself into different essences that look like they're different. They're separate, but they're really differentiation of the same thing. On and on it goes. Just to remember to come back. Sure, you're going to get hoodwinked. That's half the fun, is to get hoodwinked by the thoughts. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, it was just thinking. Here I am, and I don't know what I am, but I'm here. And the fundamental thing that starts to happen is I can't get away from the blank television screen. No matter how far out there I get, I can't get away. I can have experience of unity where I know I'm awake and enlightened, and the television screen is still there. I can have another experience where I feel like I've totally lost it. Where's the enlightenment? I'm confused, I'm lost. And then I look, oh, the television screen is still there. It didn't change it one bit. Some, something looks like it's spiritual. Oh, that's it. Television screen. Something looks like it's completely not spiritual. Oh, no. Oh, lost it. Television screen. I used to have this experience shortly after initial awakening, to where, I think it either happens two ways. Either there's an oozing into it and it's not so abrupt, or all of a sudden it's like, oh, there it is. But if you're not doing practice, for someone that doesn't do any practice and all of a sudden, boom, there it is. It can be very, very disorienting. That's why Eckhart Tolle, you read his story, he had no idea about this stuff. He didn't do practice. He was just extremely depressed until all he could do was give it up. And all of a sudden he popped. And then he had to spend like a whole year sitting on a park bench to kind of integrate the experience because he hadn't done any practice. Practice, we're basically mimicking. That's all practice is. Fools like me say, hey, I know if I do this is going to really open something up. It's mimicking what the awakened experience is. It always falls short. But there's a practice. It's awakening. What is awake is using these tools through our bodies and minds through practice to come back to itself. So it's kind of a beautiful gradual process. So when the opening happens, there's a bit of stability in it. There's a bit of understanding. The structure sort of relaxes a little bit because it's been undoing itself. But the point I was trying to make is that after the opening, what usually happens is there's this recognition when it recognizes itself as itself through you. Usually, for many, there's just so much bliss that pours out. You look at a cloud passing through the sky and you're just like, la, oh, because you can feel yourself as the beloved looking and feeling itself as that cloud. The sky, there's this spaciousness of what you, for lack of a better word, is consciousness. It isn't some dead thing. It's like you're the consciousness and the cloud is part of you, just morphing through you. There's no words to describe. It's just like you're in love. You're in love with what the mind calls the cloud, but it's more than a cloud. It's you feeling and tasting yourself as you. And there's no you there to be found. It's something so big and miraculous. And so tendency for the structure as it comes in is to objectify this as, oh, when the cloud is passing, I feel myself as the cloud and there's this blissful feeling. Oh, that's it. But that's not it. That's a reaction to the blank television screen. It doesn't really say anything that you could say is unmanifest bliss. And so when the bliss sort of subsides and all of a sudden you've got to deal with some troublesome character out there, at first there's a tendency in the structure, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I lost it, and the structure is so fragile, and the awakening is like you're a baby Buddha is so fragile that the structure wants to come back and find itself again, but the structure is so fractured, it can't quite get it. which is a good thing. But it's not about the bliss. It's about what was there that the bliss was reacting to. What caused that beauty of the cloud going across the sky to happen. And so there'd be this confusion. You'd look and you look, what happened, what happened, what happened? And fortunately, from practice, really, it's like, wait a minute, it's not about the bliss or the beauty of feeling myself as a cloud across the sky. It's what I cannot get away from. What is there when that beauty doesn't look so beautiful anymore? What is always there? What's always here? And that's what holds the imperfect human being. And that's what makes it okay to make all sorts of fuss about a shower faucet handle that's on backwards and you want to fix it. It's all okay. Every single thing is embraced by this. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The right and the wrong. Which gets back to the ultimate practice. When you notice you're lost, stop and feel what is here. Stop and come back here. Where's the problem here? It just is. It's just this. And you start to see there's no place else to go. I can't get away from what I always am. I'm here, and that's good enough.